Hey guys, welcome back to the fourth installation of the 7.1 walkthroughs. We are obviously at 7.1.4 with the Hela boss. So this was one of the more annoying, or I would say easier paths with the easiest boss. However, could be annoying if you run into a few issues. So the two nodes for this path are Colorblind and Brute Force. Colorblind is obviously that node that we've seen recently with the if you have two attackers from the same class or two champions of the same class, you suffer a degeneration of 25% of your max health over the first 15 seconds. So of course, as I said in the last video, try and keep your sort of your deck or your 5 champions to all different classes. This can also help you throughout the quest as well, but again, if you do that, then you haven't really got much to worry about. The real issue comes with the Brute Force. This is just where you have to continue to hit the opponent, and if you don't hit them for 6 seconds, then you get a degeneration on you, which goes off again once you hit the opponent. So as long as you stay relatively aggressive, you should be able to get through this relatively easy. For the path that you want to go through is the Hulk Ragnarok path, Storm Pyramid X, Nick Fury, Thor, Sentinel, the champion, and then you end with the Hela boss. For the path, don't bring in... there's no specific champs. Champs that you can take out these defenders with are very, very, very good. For example, for the Nick Fury fight, which in my opinion is an absolute key fight, somebody like Penny would be good to stop his heal block. Magneto works also to stop his block, or you take in somebody who you're really good at fighting the 2 lives of Nick Fury with. For example, I bought in Kitty Pryde. I actually had to bring in my 5-star version because she's awakened, whereas my 6-star is not. And then because I've practiced a lot and fought Nick Fury a lot with her, so that is a real key fight. And then also the Sentinel fight can be annoying. Just keep him to his SP1 so you don't get hit with those incinerates, or bring in somebody who's incinerate immune. What I would say is, obviously along this path there are 6 champs, 1 science, 1 mutant, 1 skill, then mystic, tech, cosmic. I would say the one class maybe you don't need unless you really because obviously you want a class advantage on each one. Science, because that Thor Jane Foster fight is really easy. I would also say for the Storm Pyramid X one, keep her to SP1. Nick Fury, try and get to his SP2 in case you get hit with that unblockable SP1, because obviously you can't evade it. Thor Jane Foster, again, really easy fight. Sentinel, keep to SP1. Champion, try and bring in a Tigra or Rintra, because they obviously neutralise his Unstoppable, or anyone else who counters Unstoppable. Somebody like She-Hulk might be really useful in that fight, and then is also the class advantage for Thor Jane Foster. And then you end with the Hela fight, which is one of the easier bosses. I'll get on to sort of her nodes and all of that a little later on. But we'll just go through some of these fights. So the Storm Pyramid X one, as I said, is one of the sort of, maybe not the easier ones. If I had to rank it, it would definitely be Thor, Jane Foster, the champion, Hulk, or Sentinel, then Hulk, then Storm, then Nick Fury, just because she does so much damage. And you also have to be really careful that if you push her to her SP2, which I believe I do here, it can sometimes be unblockable, and this means you basically get cooked by it. You'll see how much damage she does to me here. It's almost that was like 10k a hit, so really heavy. Will take you out pretty quick. Try and keep her to that SP1 because it is dexable. If you're able to dex her SP2, then push her all that way, but yeah, can be a really annoying fight. Apart from that, there's not much else to say. You just have to stay aggressive to stop that degeneration coming on you. A class advantage does help, but as long as you're not in class disadvantage, it's not the end of the world. And then this fight's almost over, and we'll get onto the Nick Fury one, which I believe is sort of the most key fight in this quest. The reason I say that is because Nick Fury already is quite annoying to fight. If you've got a good Nick Fury counter, or you've got a champ who you really like fighting Nick Fury with, bring him in, because you want to try and get this Nick Fury down. You don't really want to. You want to go in with class advantage, of course, but if you can't, that's not the end of the world. But it's a fight that can take a long time, and he can also like shred through maybe one or two of your attackers if you're not careful. But if you play it well, you should be okay. We'll jump into that fight, and then yeah, we can get talking about that one. So as I said, for this fight, I had to bring in my 5-star Key Pride. Obviously, the general nodes are still there. 6 stars do more damage. However, my 6-star is not yet awakened, which means that she does take damage while the miss is on, and I'm pretty sure that miss doesn't get paused, which does make it a bit of a pain if you get hit with, if he's unblockable and he throws the SP1, as you'll see in a minute. I get saved by it a little bit, and then apart from that, he is an annoying champ to fight, especially with his 2 lives. I would say that again, it's all about the champ, not so much the nodes on him. The nodes don't do an absolute ton. They as long as you hit him within 6 seconds, and even if you don't, you can do enough damage to you could do enough damage to sort of negate that degeneration. So just bring in a champ who you're comfortable with. Try and take him out as quickly as you can. Try not to lose a life while doing it, and keep him to that SP2, because it's the one that you could dex. Apart from that, it is a trickier fight, but if you're comfortable with Nick Fury, then it shouldn't be too bad. Like, as you can see there, I get saved by sort of the paused miss and the no damage taken, so my 5-star was probably the better way to go. But it does show that 5-stars can still be really, really useful, even in these paths. But like I said, let me know how you go with this fight in the comments. If you found it a tricky one, if you found it relatively easy, do let me know when you were fighting this quest, or if you're new, and how you get on. And I'll see you in the next fight. So this fight is obviously the Thor Jane Foster fight. However, it is the easiest fight. Her buff really didn't do her much good on defense, so it's relatively, well, it's just easy. There's no other words for it. Bring in a science champ. A Human Torch absolutely melts her. If you don't, you don't necessarily need a science champ. I've bought one in thinking that I needed class advantage. However, in hindsight, I definitely should have bought in a skill champ instead to take on that Hulk Ragnarok, rather than taking on having a class advantage for this fight, because this fight is very, very easy. However, obviously just either attack you can dex. It's a relatively simple one, as I said. It ends really quickly. I do it in very minimal hits, especially with Immortal Abomination, and it sort of allows him to regen a little bit on it. But like I said, easy fight, not too much to worry about in that one. It's more this Sentinel fight that a couple of times I tripped up with, just because if you keep him to his SP1, it's an easy fight, that you're able to dex his first beam and then his second beam as well. If you bring in a Cosmic Champ, you also get that passive Fury, which is really, really nice. And as you can see here, you can dex it. However, if you push him to that SP2, the projectiles can sometimes put an Incinerate on you, which, is then really annoying. A Human Torch, again, if you have him, melts the Sentinel, and you can push him to that SP2 and you won't get hit by the Incinerates. He'll also melt Thor Jane Foster. So there are a lot of other options. I bought in Null just because I have him. Obviously, he's my rank 4 or rank 3, sorry, and he does a lot of damage. Also, talking of Null, let me know if you enjoyed yesterday's video on the breakdown of how to use him. Obviously, if you haven't got him, it may be less useful, but if you still enjoyed it or like those kind of videos, leave me some comments for champions that you would like to see, and I can always, do some videos of them. But yeah, this Sentinel is quite a tricky one. Like I said, keep him to that SP1, unless you've got an Incinerate immune champ. Otherwise, that Incinerate can really take you down. I know it did for me in my first couple of runs. I would say don't worry so much about the degeneration, especially if you've got class advantage. Don't rush in to try and hit him. Just play steady. Don't let him don't get hit by the SP2, and you should be all right. Then the next fight, which I'll see you in, is the champion. So for this fight, I bought in Rintra. Obviously, he'll neutralise the champion's sort of unstoppable. But look at this at the beginning. What is that? That was on my screen at the time. Just completely white boxed. Don't know what it was. I've never had it before. As I said in recent videos, I need that new phone. I've even paused it to see if it's definitely recording to show you guys. But yeah, champion for me, really easy. Obviously, Rintra, Tigra, even Doom, I guess, to an extent. She-Hulk, they all work really nicely for him because of the basically neutralizing or preventing the unstoppable, which makes him a really easy person to fight. So therefore, for me, this fight wasn't too tricky. However, if you've not got Rintra, or you've not got Tigra, or somebody who can counter unstoppable, then just be really cautious of that. Obviously, this fight will take a lot longer than, say, it took me. Again, don't worry about the speed you're doing it in. Don't worry about how many attempts you're taking. As long as you get through it with as minimal revives as possible, then, of course, that's all that matters. as you know, with a lot of my videos, they are just my attempts. I don't mind spending units and revives on my questing. However, my videos do show that you can do this without units. However, sometimes I'm just not a good enough player, or I can't be bothered to repeat it and don't want to waste or use my energy. So yeah, the good thing about this path is it also gives you 90 units if you complete it. Remember to use your champion select to get that sort of that new champion, and also a refresh on all of their health, whoever you swap in. And we'll jump into the Hela boss. So as you can see, she's got a few annoying nodes. We've got an enhanced fury there, which is neither here nor there. Counter strike, which means when using dexterity, that gives you a passive. However, if you get 10 furies, all of them are lost, and the defender's attacks are unblockable for around 15 seconds, I believe it is, which is a long old time. So you want to try and use that dexterity as sort of minimally as possible. Stay really close and put a lot of damage in, or just make sure you time it so you're not, maybe you can just parry and you don't have to dex, or just take the hits to save Hela going unblockable. She's also got Rust and Ruin, so this one is a little bit more complex but doesn't really do much. And it's basically that when you hit her, you have a 40% chance of gaining an armor break. If the armor break is, if you get 5 of them, it just becomes a passive armor break. However, if you're not planning on getting hit, or you have somebody with strong block penetration, then this fight should go really nicely. I completely muck up with Rintra. This is what I was saying just now with the whole, you can do it. If you've got Rintra, this should be an easy fight. You should be able to do it in 80%. I don't, because I just mess up. You'll see that I put her to basically all her damage away. And then she's also got Lazarus, which is sort of why I went wrong. So Lazarus, if you may remember it or not, she begins with 5 charges. If you kill her while she has one of these charges, it uses the charge and regenerates her for around 10%. However, if you lose your combo or get hit, she gains another one. And every 20 hits on your combo meter reduces one. So ideally, you get to 100 hits, you take her out. She doesn't have any of these left. As long as you have not lost your combo, she should die. If you can sort of do it in 100 hits. For me, I get hit. It gives her one, and then I sort of get into this mess of eventually I get hit by her and she does some damage, and then I just lose all focus and sort of all concentration, and it just goes horribly wrong. I think I don't know what I was trying to do. However, she is the easiest boss in my opinion, except from that Lazarus. It's just Hela. You can dex her SP1, you can dex her SP2, but yeah, I would say nothing too much to worry about. Just be careful of the unblockable. I think that's basically how I get tapped here. She throws her SP2 while unblockable, and I believe that does quite a bit of damage. Apparently I was wrong, but yeah, eventually I die with Rintra, and the fight doesn't maybe go as perfectly as I'd like, but still I'm able to clean up with the next champ that comes in, and it's not the end of the world. So finally we'll get into good boss counters, but as I said, relatively easy, as long as you're not, as long as you can manage that Lazarus, it's not too tricky. Doom, well, really any Mystic champ, Doom, Tigra, Rintra, Symbiote Supreme, Sorcerer Supreme, Morningstar works, Blade synergy with Ghost, or with Ghost Rider. It's really not a difficult fight, as you'll see. I'm pretty sure I bring in Gallon or even Immortal Abomination, and they just finish her off. She's not too tricky. You guys should be okay with her. And that's basically all for the video. If you've got any more questions about this this path, or part of the 7.1, let me know in the comments below. I'll try and answer it as much as possible. Again, thank you for all the support recently. I hope you enjoyed the video yesterday. If you did, leave some comments on that video saying who you want to see next, or if you didn't enjoy them, just say maybe we could go back to the normal content, or give me suggestions in my Discord, which I've also got in my channel description and in my
community post that I released a couple days ago, and we can have a chat in there, see what content you guys want to ask. Obviously, I'll be pretty active in there to try and ask you guys what you want to see. But apart from that, this is the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Goodbye.